think that the major advantage of the JCPOA 1.0 was the ability to build a broad coalition of international actors, from China and Russia to the EU and to the US, obviously. And one of the major deficiencies or the major obstacles of creating another JCPOA 2.0 is really this issue, the international situation. The fact that in the end, we have first of all, a strong disagreement between those countries at the moment. If you think about the ability to bring China together with the US into a joint effort vis-a-vis Iran, it's almost as geopolitical science fiction at the moment. You know, it's very low chances that you're actually going to see such a broad and I would say extraordinary alliance of interest on that level. Second thing is really the fact that, you know, the problem is that we don't really agree. And here comes the point about your question regarding conventional weapons. We don't really agree what JCPOA 2.0 actually means. So for some, if you look at the EU, some people within the US administration, a revised JCPOA means, you know, little changes within the framework of the agreement, but you keep the framework, you know, so you might change some things that changed in real life regarding enrichment, regarding sunsets and so on, but you keep the framework. But for others, mainly regional actors, mainly Israel and others, it's about opening the entire or redefining the entire framework to include not just the nuclear issue, but also Iran's regional actions, ballistic missiles, a number of topics that were not included in the first one. And the fact that we cannot agree, we cannot create international agreement over all those issues, really limits our ability to see another JCPOA 2.0. And the last sentence is that Iran knows it. And therefore, their willingness or the ability of the international community to influence their incentive structure, to change their mind about the need or the ability to compromise is much more limited. So first of all, we have to remember that when we speak about regional actors, yes, the package is the same, but each one of them is interested in different things. Israel is much more interested about what Iran's activity in Syria and Lebanon. The Saudis, the Gulf, much more interested about their own experience with Iranian intervention in Yemen and ballistic missiles after the Aramco attack. But I think that what you have, what all those regional actors share, is the same experience of being pushed out or not really have their unique voice during the JCPOA 1.0. And the fact that they all experienced a rise in Iranian activity following the JCPOA. So while the nuclear activity of Iran was somewhat restrained, the regional strategic efforts became way more ambitious. So I think that in the end, today, you can speak about a regional actor that tries to connect the JCPOA with the regional issues, turning Iran's regional activity into part of the framework of the new JCPOA or new engagement. I think that we tend to underestimate how much the Abrams Accord influence Iranian mindset and scares or concerns the Iranians themselves. You see that their reactions to the accord were way more than just dissatisfaction, you know, including threats to reevaluate the role of the UAE or the position regarding the UAE and the other countries. I think the Iranians are worried about two things. First of all, they are worried about the strategic, what they call the foothold. The Israelis would develop a foothold close to the Iranian border. And this is something, you know, regarding intelligence cooperation and ability to work from these countries. But to be honest, all of those things happened under the surface, even before the Abrams Accords. The real change about the Abrams Accords and the taboo that they broke is about the possibility for a political coalition between Israel, the Gulf, and different regional actors against Iran. And here comes the real threat, the ability now to do things above the ground, to form a coalition that would oppose or would create a certain mode of pressure on international actors when they are engaging with Iran and creating a real regional power base vis-a-vis Iran.